RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And welcome to RTF Sports Talk. I'm the host of the show, Michael Buckheister. I am joined today with Billy Hatton from Unpopular Opinion. Billy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right on this good Tuesday morning.
It's a great Tuesday morning. It's the sun's shining. NFL Week 2 is about upon us. College football Week 3 is about upon us. Football is just amazing. Like I just can't get over how excited I am about this football season this year. So before we get too carried away, Billy, how can people get a hold of your podcast?
Oh, you can get it on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Spreaker, mostly all your podcasting sites. Normally do the podcast Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So make sure you guys subscribe, leave a rating. You get notifications every time I post. I mean, what more can you ask for, right?
Free sports talk from a great guy such as yourself. You can't ask for much more, Billy, honestly. But
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, like I definitely appreciate you being on RTF Sports Talk. And if you are watching us on YouTube Live today on RTF Sports Talk, be sure to go ahead and give us a like, comment, and subscribe. We will get to every comment as we can. But Billy, I like to jump in today with your Cleveland Browns. They ended in a tie with the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. So the question that I want to ask you, will this tie in the long run hurt the Steelers or the Browns more?
I think this tie in the long run, I think it's going to hurt the Browns because I think the Steelers are going to be a better team where they're going to be able to get more wins. They're going to be able to add to that win total. And I think, having a tie in the NFL is almost just as worse as having a loss, because you didn't win the game, So I think in the long run, the Browns will be affected more because they're the less talented team. They're going to struggle to get more wins. While I think the Steelers is going to be somewhere in that, that 10-win range, maybe 11 wins, but, that 9 or 10 range for sure. So I don't think it hurts them as much, especially being in the division that they're in. Also, I think, all you have to do is win your division. And I don't think the Browns will get that lucky next time playing in Cleveland as they will. I don't think they're going to have the success or lack of success that they had this time in Cleveland. They're going to have in Pittsburgh. So I think Pittsburgh in the long run will be better off.
Yeah, and I kind of got to echo what you're saying here because, I feel from a standpoint of the Cleveland Browns, like this was a game that they needed to win to have a chance to win the division type of thing. Like the game was there, they should have won it. It sucks the way it ended. And this kind of segues into my next question. Should there really be ties in the NFL?
Whoa! I don't get a point. I don't get a say.
Oh well, thanks for joining us, Matthew Lyle. How are you doing today, man?
I am good. Sorry, guys, running a little late.
Oh, it's
Let
all...
me just come in swinging before I deter you too long here.
Well, hey, what are your thoughts?
You guys, it's only bad for the Browns if you're in the same boat as you two were, where the Browns are a playoff team, where you live in a universe where the Browns are better all of a sudden. Because, yes, this does set them back and kind of put the damper on those dreams. But if you live in the rest of the world, or you live in the world with the rest of it, This is a win for the Browns. Best start since 2013. You found that the almighty Pittsburgh Steelers, you can compete with them. Yes, they were without Le'Veon Bell, but as we talked, Connor did really nice. So if
I predicted,
we talked about this on the prediction. We talked about this on the prediction show. It comes in steps. You add talent, and then you learn how not to lose, or you learn learn how to win. Well, this is the surefire way how to do it. You've shown us that you're good enough to compete. You just got to literally learn how to win. And I think this is a huge step for Cleveland. It's very concerning if you're Pittsburgh, and because now this really puts the leverage in Le'Veon's court, saying, "Hey, you need me out there." So I think this is kind of a positive for the Browns, and it's a huge negative for the Steelers.
Well, let me kind of derail your thoughts here, Matthew. I mean, this might be bad for the Steelers, and this is a positive for the Browns 100%, but this is a positive for the Steelers as well because they can compete with a playoff team such as the Cleveland Browns without Le'Veon Bell. So, I mean, you can look at it on both ends of the stick, like there. So, do you agree with that a little bit?
I think, I don't know, I do think, I need to see more, because we've talked about it on the last several shows, that the guy that comes in replacing Le'Veon does all right for week 1, week 2, week 3.
Right.
How's James Conner going to do week 14, week 15? You know, when the weather's really not that nice, when the body is no longer 100%, when the playoff push is coming, when I don't know when Cleveland plays them again, but when Cleveland potentially gels a little more, that's when I got. Now, obviously, if we look back on this and Le'Veon doesn't play and Connor ends up with 1,400 rushing yards, we'll all just laugh and say, boy, was that an overreaction.
Right.
But as of right now, I think this is the steps you need to take if you're Cleveland. Because if I'm Cleveland, what I don't want, and like I said, this could be a whole other topic, but what I don't want is to come out and go 9-7 this year, 10-6, and then lose a bunch of people and then be right back where I'm at. I want to build something for the long term. I don't want just a flash in the pan. So I think this is good for Cleveland. They're learning how to win in a lot of different ways, or at least compete in a lot of different ways. And, hey, 0-16 is better than 0-16.
Now, yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, that's what I was saying yesterday. I was on the phone with one of my friends, and I was telling them, yeah, it's easy to do what James Conner did. Like, this is what we expected of James Conner, But like Matthew said, what is he going to do week 10, when teams know that he's the guy? When people know that Le'Veon is not there and they have to prepare for James Conner. I think he kind of caught people by surprise yesterday. He's a good back. I mean, he's an ACC back. I watched him up there at Pittsburgh, but how's he going to do when guys are keying in on him, instead of just trying to stop Antonio Brown? So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, and that target's going to get even bigger if Ben continues to throw 3 interceptions a game.
Exactly.
If Ben somehow isn't what the Big Ben we know and what he's been for the last decade, then, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of attention put on that run game, and that I don't know if Connor can keep up with. That would be interesting to see if even Le'Veon could be a one-trick pony like that when you don't have that much of a passing game. I mean, obviously this is all overreaction for week 1, but dealing with just 1 week, that's what I'm saying.
Well, and you really have to play the weather into factor there. I mean, it was raining like cats and dogs for 75% of the game, so a lot of those interceptions could be contributed to the weather. So that's a little bit of a overreaction because I think
absolutely, but
I think Ben will be Big Ben, week 2 and I can on, and so that passing game will be there in the end.
It could be absolutely the case.
Well, they better hope so.
So before I come in and derailed, you were asking about the necessity of overtime, or I'm sorry, ties in the NFL. That's when I'm.
Yeah, means so like basically so the question is to you, Matthew, right now is should there even be a ties in the NFL?
No, I mean there shouldn't be a tie in any sport ever.
Right.
Especially one like football. And it's pure stubbornness, and I get the point of sudden death, but in my opinion, from an entertainment point of view and someone who loves offense at least, I love what the college football level does. Now, if you don't want to make it so easy by putting the ball on the 20, you can put it on the 50. You know, put it on the other 30. You know, there's some other things you can do that don't result in ties. And it seems like it's happening more and more, and I get that it could go into a standing, and it doesn't happen all the time. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it happened last year, and I think it happened a couple of years ago with the Eagles. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think it really serves any real purpose other than, I mean, obviously it would have a little half-point standing here or there, I guess. But let's get a real winner. Let's see what really happens if both teams have to have an opportunity to try to score the ball. I mean, with a game like you said, Mike, with the bad weather, and a game like the Steelers, Pittsburgh, which is they're never exactly beautiful games.
Right.
It could have been horrendous football for another hour, but we have a winner. But if you're Cleveland, you know where to move from there. I just don't really like a tie in any sport, let alone football, where the college game really hasn't kind of figured out. And if you wanted to tweak it to fit more of an NFL style, because maybe you got better kickers or whatever, I'm all for it. But you have to do something. You have to get rid of this.
Billy, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I definitely agree. You think about it in college football, the goalpost is a little bit wider. What they do when you go to the NFL, they narrow it down a little bit. So, I mean, to Matthew's point, college football got it all figured out. They place the ball right there on the 25, and, hey, we're going to have a winner. There's no way you're not going to have a winner. And the NFL, you know, if you want to do that, like you say, move it to the 50, move it 25 yards back, or move it to the 35, you know, just give it to them right. But you have to find a way in a professional game where you're dealing with professional athletes. You got to find a way to make a winner. I don't want to see a tie. I don't want to see a game in a tie. Like, who wants to see that? Nobody wants to see a game end in a tie. So yeah, I think they definitely got to. Eventually, they're gonna have to revise this rule that the games can just end in a tie. Because I'm lost for words, honestly, because like Matthew said, it doesn't happen often, but lately it's been happening more often than not, you know. So, you know, because most games really don't go into overtime all the time anyways. So we already, you know, picking a small spectacle of those games. But nobody wants to see games end in a tie when there should be a winner.
And, like,
it's, at the end of the day, it should be wins and losses, not wins, losses, and ties.
And then I got to echo exactly what you guys are saying. Like, football is the only professional sport that doesn't have some type of sudden death situation. You know, like, there's going to be a winner. I mean, hockey, they have a bunch of ties, but, like, now they have a shootout to where, you know, like, ties don't happen that much often anymore. And I don't know what the playoff rule is. Like, do you guys know what the playoff overtime rule is? Like, do they just go into a second overtime if it's tied after the first overtime?
From my understanding, yeah, they would just play until someone won.
So, I mean, so why don't we do that in the regular season then? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me, like at all.
I mean, I get why you don't want to do that, because imagine a game like last week's where it was poor weather, teams struggling to really find their place offensively.
Then we do sudden death.
You might have three more. You might have 3 more quarters or whatever. But I think if you go to the college, there's no reason you shouldn't go to the college game because it's so quick. I mean, I've watched a 7 overtime game and it's nothing but pure excitement because
Yeah.
one of the hardest places to score is in the red zone because you essentially, with the out of bounds, you have into the end zone, you have another defender.
Exactly.
And then the defense, they start out in field goal position. So the defense is hungry to get you out of field goal position. If you're the offense, you're trying to find a way to score, and a lot of teams struggle in the red zone. Lord forbid the Falcons would probably never win an overtime game. But so I don't know. I think it's just it's so exciting. And look, if you're a defensive guy and you're like, no, I want 3-0 games. Look, the NFL is probably not going to be for you for much longer. The NFL already said we don't want our receivers jammed. We don't want our quarterbacks touched. And now we don't want our playmakers hit too hard. So it's only
while they're trying to catch touchdown passes on you.
Exactly. So the NFL is not exactly pandering to defensive-minded players. They can sell it, defense wins championships, but they don't want us. They don't care about us watching the game. They want what's going to make my wife or your wife, if she's not a sports fan, tune in a little longer. And what's going to make them tune in a little longer? Starting with the ball at 20 with sudden death touchdown. Exactly.
I mean, look at the defensive pass interference rule compared to the offensive pass interference rule. A 15-yard penalty compared to what could be like an 80-yard penalty.
Exactly.
They want to see touchdowns. I mean, at least line the field goal kickers up and let them kick until somebody misses or something. I mean, you got to do something. Just games ending in a tie, like professional games, when we don't see that in the college in the college era. That's just is beyond me why we're having ties.
You don't even see it in the high school
professional
ranks.
league. Yeah, you don't even see it in high school. So it's like
right.
High school, college, you don't see it, but then we get to what's supposed to be the best of all of them, and we get in ties. That just don't make any sense to me.
I figure if any sport would do it, it'd be high school with everyone like, hey, I don't want these kids playing 15 overtimes, or
exactly.
Hey, I don't want these games going till midnight, or hey, kids fought really hard, they shouldn't lose, or however you could think your mind around it. You would think it would fit high school, which I don't agree with any of those. I love it, like I said, but I'm just thinking you could justify it a little bit more in high school than
exactly.
you could in the pros. Especially, look, I pay $800, anywhere from $80 to $800 for a ticket. Let me see a winner. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not trying to, especially in the rain. I ain't trying to stand out here in no rain and I see a tie.
Right.
Exactly.
So, speaking of winners, Aaron Rodgers, a dramatic comeback against the Bears on Sunday night football here. Let me ask you this, Billy. Did the Packers win that game, or did the Bears lose that game?
I kind of hate taking credit from people, but in this case, I'm going to say the Bears lost it. And just only because I thought, that the Bears came out flat in the second half because they thought they had it. And, that's typical of any, defensive coordinator nowadays, where they get a big lead and the head coach tell them, listen, we just need to keep them out of the end zone. So we play prevent defense. Mm-hmm. And I think anytime you play this prevent defense where you're trying not to mess up, guess what's going to happen? Or you try not to lose, you end up losing. And anytime you give a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's basically at that point probably was on one leg, when you don't blitz him, when you don't show him stunts and twists up front, and you just rush, you just let him have whatever he wants back there. He stand up right in the pocket. I don't think he got hit at all in the second half. So to me, I'm gonna say the Bears lost that game because I just thought they didn't do what got them there in the first place. I'm a firm believer of, listen, if we can run the ball and we can get 250 yards, run the ball, why am I going to keep passing the ball? I'm of the mindset Khalil Mack was wrecking. I mean, he was absolutely dominating in that game. They were doing multiple stunts and all of that other stuff. And then in the second half, it seemed like they just forgot how to play. The defensive coordinator forgot how to call plays. He forgot how to be aggressive. He forgot that he's the defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. And they gave Aaron Rodgers too much time back there. And anytime you give any elite quarterback, even a subpar quarterback, look what Ryan Fitzpatrick did with no pressure on him.
Yep.
Anytime you give a NFL quarterback, period, time to just sit back there and survey everything, he's probably going to eat you up.
I'm right there with you, Billy. I think I don't want to take away from anything from Aaron Rodgers' comeback story coming out in the second half. Really looked good out there playing on one leg.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
If you saw the after game interview, he might have been aided by some modern medicine, but he looked out of it. But yes, we talked about it yesterday. It's hard for me to say the Bears didn't lose it when A, it looked like they took their foot off the gas in the second half offensively.
Yep.
B, they allowed a 70-plus yard touchdown to Randall Cobb that, like you said, went virtually untouched.
And
when that happened at the end of the game,
and on that play, Mac gave up with about 20 yards in. Like if Mac would have stayed on the sprint, he would have tackled him at the 10-yard line.
Exactly.
I'm just throwing it out there.
You make a great point, Mike, and that's a point I was going to make on a little side note. Just keep an eye out. I'm not making any speculation. I don't know. I'm not a football guru where I can watch these things like John Gruden and break it down, but I'm curious. Billy was saying a lot about the defensive coordinator forgot how to be a defensive coordinator. I wonder if Mac struggles with a 100% motor. I hate to say it, but there's got to be a reason the Raiders got rid of him so easily. There's got to be a reason the Raiders didn't want to give him the money.
Are you saying he gets tired too fast? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe he gets tired. Maybe if you get a 17 to 20-point lead, which, look, it's human nature. I get it.
Yeah.
But maybe when you get that kind of lead, it's hard to keep. Maybe he just struggles to keep the motor going for a full 60 minutes. And, look, I'm not saying I would do any better, but when you're an NFL superstar, when you're, quote-unquote, the best in the world, and when you're wanting, quote-unquote, best in the world money, you got to have a 60-minute motor, and maybe he doesn't. And maybe that's why Oakland, which I'm sure wasn't thrilled to losing, but was willing to let him part ways. And maybe we're going to see that in Chicago, whether it be in the second half. I noticed Aaron Rodgers, of course, they didn't bring the blitz, and I noticed Aaron Rodgers was getting rid of the ball a little quicker. But Mac's impact in the second half was nowhere near the impact he had in the first half.
He had no impact.
Yeah,
no tackle,
exactly,
no nothing.
Exactly. You brought it up. He gave up. Now, I guess in football, in the NFL, the momentum, the way these guys are such great athletes, that even if he would attempt to make the tackle, I don't think he actually gave up at that point. Like when I think give up, I think you were given 100% and then you gave 0%. I think what happened was Mac was given 80% or 70% along the way, and then when it came time for him to make the play on the 5-yard line or 3-yard line, he couldn't turn it on like that. And I think that's where you see a lot of these things happen. Isn't that they just go from 100 to 0? It's just that they start coasting. And if you go back, yes, he didn't make the tackle on the 3-yard line, but there's a couple of plays back when he was 50 yards away that Mac, if given 110%, may be able to make something.
Yep.
So
I definitely agree.
So I'm curious to see what's going to hold with that season. I mean, Chicago. He's here in Chicago. He's going to play some solid quarterbacks. You can say what you want about Matt Stafford. He's got Kirk Cousins he's going to face off against. He's got to see Aaron Rodgers again. He's going to have to give 60 minutes. And his offense isn't what the offense was in Oakland, where if we allow 10 or 14 or 20 points, my offense might give me 30 or 40, because I don't see the Bears' offense putting up 30 or 40 very often. Not yet. So he's going to be relied on heavier. He's got the money. He's got what he wanted. Now he's got to show he's worth it. Be interesting to watch. But to answer the original Cavs question, if you had, I think it's 60-40. 60% the Bears gave it away. 40% the Packers took it.
Okay, so this would kind of segue into the topic of the day. But you guys are saying that the Bears gave away the game. I'm on the other way, saying that the Aaron Rodgers came out and won that game. The Packers just came out when Aaron Rodgers was not in the game, the Packers looked like a subpar 2 to 3 win team. When Aaron Rodgers is like in there, they look like a playoff caliber second, possibly conference championship team. So the final question, the main topic of today's show, do you guys think this game possibly puts Aaron Rodgers into that greatest of all time talk, passing Tom Brady? Billy, we'll go ahead and start with you on this one.
Well, he's been in the conversation. You know, I don't think he was never not in the conversation. I think as soon as he won the first Super Bowl, people was already ready to put him in that conversation. But over Tom Brady, did Tom die or something? And I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan, but I mean, last I checked, Tom Brady is still playing MVP football. I mean, Tom Brady is still doing the same thing he's been doing for the last decade and a half. I mean, he's Tom Brady. I've seen Tom Brady do what Aaron Rodgers did last night to a better defense and a offense in the Super Bowl, down 25. You know, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, act like the Bears offense is just, you know, juggernaut, you know, and they had 24 points with a defensive touchdown. The offense really didn't do much all night. And I've been saying that for the longest about Mitchell Trubisky. So, I mean, no, he's not better than Tom Brady. He got a lot more to do. They don't make it, like I say this all the time. I hate this, Mike. Why you do this, man? They make so many excuses for Aaron Rodgers that Tom Brady does not get. If Aaron Rodgers had came back in the game, or hold on, I'll put it this way: had Fuller intercepted that pass, we would be talking about today how Aaron Rodgers was hurt and how he couldn't drive off the football and how he couldn't make the right decision, you know, and that's what led to the interception. But instead, you know, he got the pass to Randall Cobb, and Randall Cobb take off 70 yards down the field and score. Now Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback ever. I just don't get it. You know, I cannot give him, you know, best quarterback ever over a guy who's still doing it and that don't make excuses, you know. So no, he's not.
So let me tell you what I'm doing over here, guys. Let me bring you into what the old Lyle man is up to. I'm just trying to bring in all the love. Look, one thing I've decided to do, and I've always felt like this, but I'm trying to not let myself get suckered into fierce debates, not with you guys, just in life in general. I'm no longer going to do a pecking order. I'm no longer going to do 1 through 10, top 10 type of players. I'm going to do tiers, just like a penthouse. Who's a penthouse of quarterbacks? Is Aaron Rodgers in the penthouse, especially of active quarterbacks? Absolutely. But he's sitting on a couch with Tom Brady and Drew Brees. They're just up there chilling. And
don't forget Alex Smith.
And one thing I noticed in week one, he's on the elevator somewhere. One thing I noticed in this is that especially week one, these mid-tier guys are rotating in and out. Marcus Mariota can't stay healthy. Jameis Winston can't stay out of trouble, and they look quite good without him. Carson Wentz struggling to stay healthy. Matt Ryan didn't look great. Matt Stafford didn't look great. Ben struggled with weather. Everybody was, just in general. But who stood out? It's the 40-year-old people. Derek Carr struggled. Nick Foles did not look impressive. Yeah, they won, but they did not look impressive. But when I look at Tom Brady, 3 touchdowns versus a good defense in the Texans, when we did talk about their cornerbacks being questionable, Drew Brees still able to get in a good old-fashioned shootout. And Aaron Rodgers coming out on one leg and getting it done. That's something I got to appreciate. So, yes, he's in the penthouse with the elite. Now, what I will say is, if he was not in the penthouse with the elite, last night or Monday night or Sunday night's performance would not have changed that alone. Because, as Billy said, he got away with what should have been an interception. Randall Cobb did most of the work on that catch. I think the defense on the Bears really, really just let off the gas. Not saying that he wouldn't have had a touchdown or something, because one of those passes
they was
were gorgeous. Exactly. One of those touchdown passes were gorgeous, so I don't want to take that away from him. But one thing, you just got to sit back and you just have to say, and it could be a whole debate for a whole nother show, the Green Bay Packers are a great organization. But as of right now, they funnel all their money into that offense. Jimmy Graham, Randall Cobb, Aaron Rodgers, the highest paid man out there. New England, which has only led to one Super Bowl. New England has 5 Super Bowls. They spread that money out a little bit more evenly, which sometimes it lends itself to an interesting debate. You know, you say, well, Tom Brady won because of Bill Belichick, but then you can also say Tom Brady has worse receivers. Tom Brady has a better defense, but Tom Brady has less no-names. So it lends itself to all kinds of debate, and I don't want to take anything away from Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, but he is where he is. He's an elite. He's got a ring, and he's up in the penthouse, but that did not change. He wasn't getting booted out if they lost Sunday night, and he didn't get put in there by winning Sunday night. So he's up there with Brady and Breeze. They all look great week 1. But I'm not running around changing my way, selling my jerseys off of a second half performance.
Well,
I would even say this fails in comparison to the 2 Hail Marys.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right there. Speaking of possibly penthouse quarterbacks, as Matthew Lyle likes to say, Sam Darnold from the Jets had a great performance last night. The youngest rookie to start a game, win a Monday Night Football game in Detroit. What are you guys' thoughts of Sam Darnold moving forward for the rest of the season? Billy, go ahead and start with you on that one.
You know what, Mike? Can we just start with Matthew, because I have a lot to say on this situation.
Sure,
so,
Matthew.
Let's turn this into Matthew.
Matthew, go ahead, bud.
Okay. You know, hey, like I said, I'm over here. I'm over here at the quarterback hotel, and Alex Smith still lost on the elevator somewhere. I'll update you later. But guess who just walked in? Sam Darnold. Now he's sitting in the lobby. He's just sitting in the lobby. He got his parking valet. He's sitting in the lobby. He by no means has a room. But I'm interested. I see the people saying, what's going on over here? Now, he's got a lot to prove.
Okay, I was getting ready to say you.
That enough.
Yeah.
He's got a lot. In the quarterback hotel, all quarterbacks in the NFL can get in. But where do you go from there?
They already in the fraternity.
They already in the fraternity, but some are out back sweeping trash, i.e. Nate Peterman, and some are upstairs in the penthouse.
I don't even think Nate Peterman is there.
Sam Darnold is sitting in the lobby. I mean, I'm impressed by what I saw. I'm more impressed by not really the numbers. The fact that his first throw as an NFL, not his first throw as a starter, not his first throw as the guy, his first NFL game throw was an interception for a pick six. So not only does your first throw lead to a turnover, your team, the next time you go on the field, you are losing because of you. And you still turn around? Hey, welcome to the lobby, young man. Like I said, you don't have a ticket, you don't have a room, and you got a lot of work to do. But I see you in the lobby, buddy.
Okay, so, you know, that I'm glad you ended off with that, because that was going to be my first one before I get into my little rant here. His first NFL throw, like you said, was a pick six, not just an interception. I mean a pick six on the road. So the only thing I'm really going to give him credit for in my little speech that I'm going to make right now is the ability to bounce back the very next drive and lead his team all the way down the field and get in the end zone to tie the game up. This is where we part ways, though. Yeah, I see the numbers, 16 of 21, 96 yards or something like that, 2 touchdowns and just that one pick. He threw 4 incompletions the whole game after that first interception. So he bounced back, so to speak. But this is where I'm going to pump the brakes, because as a rookie quarterback, when you get the luxury of having 4 interceptions in a game by your defense, when you also have the luxury of scoring on 2 of those interceptions. When you get 100 yards from your running back, 2 touchdowns from your running back, that's a recipe for success in any rookie quarterback, and any quarterback in general, veteran quarterback. If I can get 4 turnovers, 2 of them be returned for touchdowns, my running back can get 100 yards. He can add 2 scores to that. Not to mention one of his touchdown passes was all the receiver, Wanyu or whatever his name is. He basically carried the DB on his back to the end zone, and the quarterback gets a touchdown for that. Almost kind of like the shovel pass. You're throwing the ball 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and you let the running back or receiver do all the work, and you still get a TD pass for that. Me personally, I was not impressed with Sam Darnold last night because it's easy to do something when you have no pressure. They had no pressure. Every time the Lions defense would get off the field, Matt Stafford would go out there and turn the ball right back over, and the defense got to go right back out there and play. So when your defense is out there, the amount of time as the Detroit Lions was out there, it's not really hard for a good player, a guy that's in the NFL to make you pay. I mean, a lot of the stuff that the Jets also run for Sam Darnold is a lot of dink and dunk. It's right up underneath 5 yards. He don't really have to make a lot of decisions. Now, where I am impressed with Sam Darnold is his pocket awareness, with the ability to be able to escape out the pocket, turn around, step up in the pocket, move whenever he needed to. That's what I'm more impressed with. But the game last night, I think this is definitely an overreaction, to basically a bad game by Matt Stafford. When they couldn't get anything together, especially when they have to turn from Matt Stafford to the end of the game and they put in Matt Castle. That game really didn't go as well as they wanted it to on offense. So, I mean, it was okay performance, but I'm not going to jump out my seats and say, that like he's there. I think, to me, he has a lot more to prove. We've seen this happen many times in the NFL where a rookie come out that first week and just kill it, and then over the next, the course of the season, like we talked about with James Conner, how is he going to be that now that team, that he's on team's radar now? That the media is hyping him up to be, whoever the next great thing. How is he going to respond when teams are actually coming after him when they can game plan for him?
No, I get it. Hey, Matt Flynn threw 7 touchdowns, and I had him in the lobby before I had to ask him to leave.
Like, kindly leave, sir. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's a terrible quarterback. I'm just saying last night a lot of stuff went right for him. When you can get 4 touchdowns from other guys. That's all I'm saying. But I love his ability. It takes a strong-minded individual to come out on your very first throw, throw a pick 6, and then come back that next drive poised as ever. So, he has great poise, and that's what you need to be an NFL quarterback, somebody who's not getting rattled. And I also like what Josh McCown was doing on the sideline. He's hyping him up after every time he can come back to the sideline. That's what you need, So, I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm just saying I'm going to pump the brakes on last night.
As Billy Hatton sets the mic on fire, let's try to cool this down a little bit. I'm I've just been strolling through the comments here on YouTube and Facebook that we're streaming live to. A couple comments are coming in as far as the Aaron Rodgers thing, just about him playing on one leg. There's a comment that came in saying that we are too young, but a guy by the name of Fran Tarkenka, I don't know.
Yeah, Fran Tarkenton.
Yeah, he played with the cast on his leg back in the day, apparently. So Aaron Rodgers just needs to suck it up and stop being
individual.
A baby. So, but I just wanted to put that out there that we're still a little wet behind the ears, so we need to learn our sports a little bit more. Apparently, you guys got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, almost like the my generation is better than your generation, that we all going to do. I'm going to do it to my kids
Right.
when they grow up. Like, y'all just don't understand, how good this was,
Yeah.
So every generation have they thing. They also played in leather helmets, so I guess we can call everybody soft that plays now with the hard helmet.
All righty. Well, I like I said, I want to thank you guys for joining us today on RTF Sports Talk. We're joined, as always, with Billy Hatton and Matthew Lyle. We're live Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays at 9:45 a.m. On Thursday, we'll start picking Week 2 NFL games, talking a little bit more about it. And as always, thanks to everybody for joining us. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a good day.
I see you guys.